Studying the reflex klystons and the two cavity klystons. Now let us see the multi-cavity klystons. What is meant by these multi-cavity klystons and why you are using this multi-cavity klystons. Now, as you studied in the two cavity klystons, is basically used for the amplification of the RF signals. But if you use a single two cavity klyston, the amplification what you are getting or the gain what you are getting, sometimes it may not be sufficient to meet the application requirements. We want to increase the gain. So, for that particular purposes, we are using this particular multi-cavity klystons. Now, as you know, in normal amplifiers, if the gain is not satisfactory, then you are going for the multi-stage cascading of the amplifiers. 2 stage, 3 stage, 4 stage, 5 stage amplifiers we are using in order to increase the gain. Similarly, here also, in order to increase the gain, okay, then we are going for this multi-cavity klystons. So, here you can see here, so this is one cavity, so this is another cavity and this is another cavity. Like this, here only the 3 cavities have been shown. Like this, n number of cavities are there. Okay, and this is one the construction details is same as the previous one. Here you are having the anode and here you are having the collectors. Two cavity klyston we are having only 2 cavities and here we are having the n number of cavities. Okay, and this is the space what you are having, it is a drift space between these 2 cavities and this is the drift space between these 2 cavities. Now let us see how this particular 2 cavity klyston works. Okay. Now for simple understanding purposes, let us consider the multi-cavity klyston, that is a 3 cavity klystons. Here the 3 cavities have been shown. Now the signal in the first gap results in small bunching of the electrons. Okay, the signal in the first gap results in a small bunching of electrons means, so from this cavity to this particular cavity, this is the first cavity, this is the second cavity and this is the last cavity. Okay, now so this is the cathode and this is the collectors. Now the cathode when the cathode gets heated, it starts emptying the electrons and these electrons will move from this particular cavity to this particular cavities. The signal in the first gap results in a small bunching of, here a small bunching of electrons will take place. Then the voltage in the second gap is much greater than in the first one. Then the voltage in the second one is much greater than the first one. Then the bunched beam enters the third gap and produces the large amount of the things. You need to see that here a some amount of the amplification will take place and here some amount of amplification will take place and here some amount of the amplification will take place. That means to say that as the electrons are going on moving from one cavity to the other cavities, okay, so the value of voltage goes on increases, that is voltage in the second gap is much greater than the first one. Whatever the voltage you are having at this particular point, so this voltage is more than this and the voltage you are having at this point is more than this. If you are using few more stages, then the voltage goes on increases. 3 cavity klyston can also be used as a self-excited oscillators. Okay, and the power is fed back from the second cavity to the first cavity. So whatever the power is generated from the second cavity, it is fed to the first cavities. And the first 2 cavities determine the frequency and the third cavity is responsible for the power amplifications. Okay, for the 3 stage klyston is considered. Okay, the power is fed from the second cavity to the first cavities, first one. Next is the first 2 cavities determine the frequency and the third cavity is responsible for the amplifications. That means these 2 cavities will determine so what the frequency you want to generate it and this cavity will determine so what is the amplification you are supposed to get it. And if you want to use you want to get more amount of the amplifications, so then we are increasing the number of cavities. So let us consider some of the mathematical equations which are used for the analysis of these 2 cavity klystron amplifiers. For the velocity modulations, we are coming across the different types of the equations. So then for the calculation of velocity modulations, first you have to calculate so the average electron velocity and the average electron velocity is calculated u of AV is equal to u0 into 1 plus beta 1 into v divided by 2v0 into sine of omega t1 plus theta g divided by 2. And since v1 is always less than v0 and using binomial expressions, so these equations I will simplify to a u of AV. So that means to say that the average velocity of the electrons will be calculated from the equation uAV equal to u0 into 1 plus m by 2 into sine of omega t1 into theta g by 2. Where in this particular equation, whatever the m is there, so m is called as or known as the depth of modulations, and this m is calculated from m is equal to beta 1 into v divided by v0. And for to solve the problems for the two cavity reflex crystals, you have to remember, so this equation, that is u0 equal to u0 into 1 plus m by 2 sine of omega t1 plus theta g by 2, in this m is equal to beta 1 into v divided by v0, where m is called as a depth of the modulations. And the exit velocity of the electrons from the bunch-air cavity, okay, so is calculated from the equation u0 at t2 equal to u0 into 1 plus m by 2 sine of omega t2 minus theta g divided by 2. Okay. Then the transit time in the drift space, okay, that is the in the drift space is nothing but the space between the bunch-air cavity and the catch-air cavity, and the transit time in the drift space is indicating that how much amount of the time the electrons will take to move from a bunch-air cavity to the catch-air cavity. Okay. The transit time in the drift space is represented by Td. Okay. The transit time Td in the drift space is calculated from L divided by u0 into 1 minus m by 2 into sine of omega t2 minus theta g, so divided by 2. So this equation is used to calculate that drift space transit time. Okay, now let us consider the density modulations. Now because of the difference in velocities of the electrons in velocity modulation beam, the electrons form a bunch, because in the function of this particular two cavity crystals, we have seen that how the bunching takes place. This bunching takes place because of the difference in the velocities, and because of this it becomes a density modulated. Now in the bunching process, we have seen that there are three types of the velocities you will get. One is the no velocity, change in the velocity, another one is the with the increase in the velocity, and another one is the decrease in the velocities. And u0 is nothing but unchanged velocity u0. This is the velocity you are getting when the electrons come across the neutral potentials, and u minimum is the velocity you are coming across when the gap voltage is having a negative potentials, and u maximum you are getting so when the gap voltage is having a positive potentials. And the maximum degree of bunching takes place when the bunch-air and the cavities are spaced to satisfy. That means bunching, we want to have a maximum bunching to takes place, and the more number of electrons are to be bunched together, and the spacing between the bunch-air cavity and the catch-air cavity has to be adjusted in such a way that this Td is equal to T3 minus T2, where the Td is calculated by the equation L divided by u into T2. So this is equal to T0 into 1 minus m by 2 into sine of omega T2 minus theta g divided by 2. Okay. If this particular condition is satisfied, so then we are getting the maximum bunching. Now, continues with the density modulations, where the T0 equal to L divided by u0 is the transit time in the drift space. That is, transit time in the drift space is how much amount of the electrons time the electrons will take to move from bunch-air cavity to the catch-air cavity. Then the corresponding transmit angle in the drift space is calculated from these particular equations, where theta naught is equal to omega t0 is the DC transit angles. Remember, so this is the equation which you are using to calculate the transit angle, and this is the equation which is going to give the transit time. And once the electrons are bunched together, then the bunched beam current we are getting. So, the bunched beam current is calculated from this particular equations, and where, so this J1 of Nx, whatever this terms, new term we are getting. So, this particular term is taken from the Bessel's functions table. Okay. And you are not supposed to bother about the derivation of all these particular equations, just remember this particular equation. The bunched beam current is calculated from this equation, where this J1 of Nx value will be taken from the Bessel's function tables. Then the fundamental component of the current is maximum for an output drift space length. Okay. Now, so the fundamental component of the current is maximum. That means when the current is going to be maximum, okay, so that current is going to be maximum for an optimum drift space, that is L optimum is equal to 0.3682 U0 into V0 divided by omega into B1 into V1. With when we are getting these particular values, so then we are getting the maximum fundamental component of the current. Then, so the power output, the average power delivered to the cavity output is calculated from P0 is equal to beta 2 into I0 into V2 into J1 of x cos of I. Here once again whatever this particular J1 of x you are getting, so this value is taken from the Bessel's function table, and this beta, so what it has been shown, it is a coupling coefficient. If you want to have a maximum power output, okay, for maximum power output cos phi is equal to 1, therefore phi is equal to 0 and x is equal to 1.841. So, this x is equal to 1.841. So, here whatever the x we are having here. So, these values, this x is equal to 1.841 will be taken from the Bessel's function table, and you want to have a maximum power output, x must be equal to 1.84 and coupling coefficient beta 2 must be equal to 1. So, therefore, the maximum power output is calculated from I0 into V2 into J1 of x. So, this is equal to 0.582 into I0 into V2. So, that is this 0.582 into I0 into V2. So, it is going to give the maximum power output. Efficiency is calculated from the formula efficiency equal to RF output power divided by DC beam power. So, that is efficiency equal to PAC divided by PDC. PDC is calculated, PAC is calculated from this equation and PDC is calculated from these equations. Okay. And the efficiency is going to be maximum when the values of x is equal to 1.841, and this value of x is equal to 1.841, we are taking it from the Bessel's functions. Now, maximum efficiency is equal to 0.582 into beta 2 into V2 divided by V zeros. And if the coupling coefficient, if the coupling is perfect, that is coupling coefficient beta 2 is equal to 1, then the maximum current is equal to 2I0 into 0.582 and V2 is equal to V0, then the maximum efficiency is equal to 58.2. So, that means to say that, so this two cavity klystron amplifier is having a maximum efficiency of 58.2%, okay, if the coupling is perfect, that is if the beta 2 value is equal to 1, that means in this equation or in this equation. Okay. Here if the values of this beta 2 equal to 1, so then the current is, you are going to get it as 2 I naught onto 5.582, and at that particular time V0 equal to V2, then efficiency is going to be 58.2. The voltage gain is calculated from the equation AV equal to V2 divided by V1, and the voltage gain AV is equal to V2 is calculated from beta square theta 0 V0 into J1 of x and x into V0 into GSH, and B1, that is coupling coefficient B1 is equal to B rho for identical cavities. B1 equal to B2 for identical cavities means you have the two cavities, one is a buncher cavity and the other one is the catcher cavities, and B1 is the coupling coefficient of the buncher cavity and B2 is the coupling coefficient of the catcher cavities. For the identical case, the coupling coefficient of the buncher cavity and the catcher cavity has to be same or equal. So, therefore, B1 equal to B2 has been taken. Then mutual conductance of this particular reflect klystron is represented by Gm. It is equal to IC divided by V1. It is calculated from, so this particular equations, and you have to remember this particular equation, no need to bother about how these particular equations have been derived, and therefore gain equal to Gm divided by GSH, And for the maximum power output, because x is equal to 1.841, then Gm equal to 0.136 into G0 into B square into theta 0. Under the first problem, that is example 1. So the given problem is a 2-cavity crystalline amplifier, a 2-cavity klystron amplifier is tuned at 3 gigahertz. The drift space length is space length is 2 centimeters and beam current is 25 milliamperes. The catcher voltage is 0.3 times the catcher voltage is 0.3 times the beam voltage. And it is assumed that the gap length of the cavity is less than the drift space. It is assumed that the gap length is length of the cavity is very, very less than the drift space, so that the input and output voltages are in phase, so that the input and output voltages are in phase. So for this, beam coupling coefficient is given as equal to 1, and you have to compute the parameters: 1, power output, B, power output, and efficiency for n equal to 3/4 mode. B, beam voltage input voltage and output voltage for a maximum power output of of 5 1/4 mode. Okay. Now this is the problem what it has been given. So what you have to do is it. So you are supposed to calculate A, that is a power output and efficiency for n equal to 3/4 mode, and beam voltage, input voltage and output voltage, and the maximum power output for the 5 1/4 mode. Now, to solve this particular problem, so what you are supposed to do is that first read that particular problem carefully. So, write down whatever the values are given, okay, what are the given values are there, write down all the given values and then write down the parameters to be calculated and then using the formulas, okay, or the equations, try to solve that particular problems. Okay. Now, so let us solve this particular problem. Solution is, now for us the given values are, frequency is given. So, the given frequency is 3 gigahertz and current is given, beam current is given. So, this is given as 25 milliamperes and length is given. So, this is given as 2 centimeters and beam coupling coefficient is given. So, this is given as 1 and catcher voltage is given. Catcher voltage is given. So, this is equal to 0.3 times beam voltage, that is this is equal to 0.3 times of the beam voltage. So, this is 0.3 times of the beam voltage were represented by V zeros. Okay. Once you write down all these particular things, so these are the given parameters and these are the unknown parameters and you are supposed to solve it. Calculate beam voltage. So, the beam voltage is calculated from the formula m divided by 2E into LF divided by N whole square. So, in this equation try to substitute the values. V0 equal to, here m is nothing but the mass of the electrons and E is nothing but the charge of the electrons, L is the length of the space and F is the frequency and N is the mode. Substitute all the values in this. 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 divided by 2 into 1.602 into 10 to the power of 19, okay, into L is given is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 2 and the frequency is 3 into 10 to the power of 9. So, divided by N is 5 into 1 by 4. So, this is going to be 371.4 volts. Okay. Then next parameter is, for maximum power output, the Buncher parameter, x equal to 1.84. So, this is equal to pi into n into V1, so divided by V0, V1 divided by V0. Okay. Now, therefore, Buncher voltage magnitude is equal to, so therefore, V1 equal to x into V0, so divided by pi into n. Okay. So, this equation is taken from this, just cross multiply the things and then V1 equal to x into V0 divided by pi into n. So, in this particular equation go on substituting the values. X value is 1.84 and V0 it is calculated 371.4. So, divided by pi value is 3.14, n value is 5 into 1 by 4. So, this value is coming to be 41.43 volts. Okay. Now, let's calculate the catcher voltage. Catcher voltage is equal to V2. Okay. So, this is equal to, it is given in the problem, that is 0.3 times of V0. Okay. So, the catcher voltage in the given problem, it is given that it is 0.3 times of the Buncher, that is beam voltage. So, that is 0.3 times of V0. So, in this 0.3 times of your V0. So, V0 is, I have calculated, so that is 371.4 volts. So, this is going to be, you are getting to get it as 101.4 volts. Okay, this is how I have calculated a few parameters. Example 2, a two cavity klystron operates at 5 gigahertz with a DC beam voltage of 10 kilovolts and 2 mm cavity gap, and for a given input RF voltage, for a given input RF voltage, the magnitude of gap voltage is the magnitude of gap voltage is 100 volts. Calculate the transit time at the cavity gap the transit angle and velocity of the electrons leaving the gap. Okay, so this problem is given. So first to read this particular problem carefully and see whatever the parameters are given, write down all the given parameters and write down which are the parameters you are supposed to calculate, okay, and then try to solve the problem. Okay, now let us solve this particular problem, solution to this particular problem. Okay, now for us the frequency is given. The frequency given is 500 gigahertz. Beam current is given. So this value is equal to 10 kilovolts and gap voltage is given, and the gap voltage is given as 100 volts. Okay, and cavity, one more parameter is given, so that is cavity gap. So this cavity gap is given as 2 mm. Okay, from this particular given values, now let us try to solve some the unknown parameters. Now let us calculate the DC beam velocity. It is given by u0 equal to 0.596 into 10 to the power of 6 into root of V0. Okay, this is equal to 0.593 into 10 to the power of 6 into, so V0 is given 10 into 10 to the power of 3. So this is going to be 0.593, okay, into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. Next we are supposed to calculate the transit time Tg. Tg is equal to d divided by u0. So the distance, d is the distance and u0 is the velocity what you have calculated. This distance in the given problem, it is specified in terms of millimeters. Convert this particular distance in millimeters to a meters form, that is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 3. So divided by 0.593 into 10 to the power of 8. Okay, so this is going to be 33.7 into 10 to the power of 12 seconds. Okay. Next parameter is gap transit angle. So this is equal to theta g. Okay. So this is can also be calculated by omega into Tg. So here, so omega is nothing but this omega is nothing but W is equal to 2 pi f. So it is 2 pi f into Tg. Okay. So in this particular case, go on substitute the values 2 pi into the value of f. The operating frequency is given. It is 5 into 10 to the power of 9 into Tg. The gap transit time is given. So that is here you have calculated. So that is 33.7 into 10 to the power of minus 12. So this value is okay, we'll write it here. This value is equal to 1.059 radians, and you can also specify in terms of degrees. So this is equal to 60.7 degrees. Take one more problem, that is example 3. Okay, a 2-cavity klystron amplifier. A 2-cavity klystron amplifier has the following parameters. Voltage gain equal to voltage gain equal to 15 dB. Then input power is equal to 5 milliwatts, and RSH shunt resistance of input cavity is equal to 30 kilo ohms, and RSH of output cavity is equal to 40 kilo ohms, and RL, that is load impedance, it is given equal to 40 kilo ohms. Then you have to determine number 1, input RMS voltage, output RMS voltage, and C, power delivered to load. Okay. Now these are the given parameters, and so these are the parameters you are supposed to derive it. So for this particular purposes, so let us try to solve this particular problem. Okay. Now P in RMS is given by V1 square, so divided by R, that is power, that is input power, that is RMS power, is calculated from V1 square divided by R, or you can write it as V1 square is equal to P in into RSH. So just you have to cross multiply it. Therefore, V1 square is equal to 5 into 10 to the power of minus 3 into 30 into 10 to the power of 3. Okay. V1 square equal to P in 5 into 10 to the power of 3, okay, into RSH. So RSH, how much? 30 kilo ohms is given to you. It is 30 into 10 to the power of 3. So this value is going to be 12.25 volts. Okay. To calculate the input power, write the equation V1 square divided by R. Okay. So, you cross multiply this, you are getting it as V1 square equal to P in into RSH. Then V1 square is equal to P in value is given in the problem and RSH is also given in the problems. So, then substitute the values, you will get V1 square is equal to 12.25 volts. Okay. Okay. Now, that is V1 equal to 12.25 volts. Next parameter is, so this is a parameter A you have derived. Next parameter you have to calculate is AV. AV equal to 20 log of V2 divided by V1. The unit has to be in dBs because it is a gain. So, okay, 15 equal to 20 log of V2 divided by V1 is 12.25. That means that the gain is calculated from 20 log of V2 divided by V1. In this case, AV is given in the problem, the AV is given and V1 you have calculated and V2 you have to determine this. So, from this one, now if you do this, so you will get V2 equal to 68.89 volts. Okay. The third parameter is P out, output power you are supposed to calculate. It is given by V2 square, so divided by RSH. So, V2 you have calculated here 68.89 square, so divided by RSH. RSH it has been given in this particular problem. So, this value is equal to 20 into 10 to the power of 3. So, this is going to be 0.2373 watts, or you can write it as 237 milliwatt. A two cavity klystron amplifier operates at 5 gigahertz with a DC beam voltage of DC beam voltage of 10 kilovolts and a cavity gap of 2 mm for a given RF voltage. The magnitude of the gap voltage is 100 volts. Calculate transit angle velocity of electron leaving the gap. Okay. Now, okay. Now DC beam voltage DC beam velocity is given by V0 equal to 0.593 into 10 to the power of 6 into root of V0. So this is equal to 0.593 into 10 to the power of 6 into root of V0 is given in the problem. It is 10 into 10 to the power of 3. So this is going to be 0.593 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. Then gap transit time. So this is equal to d divided by u0. So this is equal to 2 into 10 to the power of minus 3 divided by 0.593 into 10 to the power of 6. So this is going, you are going to get it as 33.7 into 10 to the power of minus 12 seconds. Okay. Then gap transit angle it is given by theta g. So it is equal to omega into t0. So omega into t. Okay. That is the gap transit time. So we can write it as T2. So this is equal to 2 omega is nothing but 2 pi f. It is 2 pi f into 2. That is 2 pi. Frequency is given. So it is 5 into 10 to the power of 9 into, so 33.7 into 10 to the power of 12 seconds. So this value is going to be 1.059 radians, or you can also specify in terms of degrees, that is 60.7 degrees. Next parameter is the velocity of electron leaving the input cavity gap. So this is equal to V of t is equal to V0 into 1 plus beta 1 divided to V1 divided by V0 into sine of omega t plus theta g divided by 2. So in this, go on substituting the values, 0.593 into 10 to the power of 8 into 1 plus 0.954 into 100 divided by 2 into 10 into 10 to the power of 3 into sine of omega t plus theta g divided by 2. So this is equal to 0.593 into 10 to the power of 8 into 1 plus 0.0047 into sine of omega t plus 0.5295 and is varying sinusoidally at the input cycle. Okay, we are supposed to write here as varying sinusoidally because here we are getting the sine term. Because we are getting the sine term here, we have to write it as varying sinusoidally at the input cycles. So the maximum velocity is V at maximum is equal to V into 1 plus m by 2. So this is equal to 0.593 into 10 to the power of 8 into 1 plus 0.00477. Okay, and V of T minimum is equal to V0 into 1 minus m by 2. So this is equal to 0.593 into 10 to the power of 8 into 1 minus 0.00477. Okay, so this is how you can calculate the different parameters.